Hey guys, so long time no see. It's been probably a month since I've uploaded, but it's been a really long, crazy month to say the least.
Yeah.
We'll start kind of from the beginning. So about a month ago,
Yep.
Nevaeh had been getting really, well, we noticed on our anniversary weekend, which actually was May 26th was our anniversary, my mom and dad took the kids for the weekend and brought Nevaeh home, and my mom was kind of like, she's been acting really weird, I don't really know what's going on. Well, I kind of noticed it too. So that whole following week, she was just like out of it.
Yeah.
And I kept being like, Vay, what's going on? Like, she wasn't talking. She just kind of would sit and like, I literally thought she was depressed. And I can kind of give you some of the symptoms she's had too. She had been peeing her pants. She's 7. It was really weird. And we were like, okay, Grayson is potty trained. Like, what's going on? And she was drinking a ton of water. And she was just like not there. She ate food, she drank, but she, like, when you would talk to her, she would be like, yeah, like just like really tired, it seemed like, all the time. So that following week, I brought her in, happened to be Memorial weekend, and they said she had an ear infection and blah, blah, blah. So Ethan was just kind of like, well, she'll probably get better once the antibiotics like kick in.
Yeah.
So it was like, what, like 2 days? And I'm like, she's not getting better. And one thing that was really weird, she's always been a small girl. You guys have seen her. She's really small. She was extremely small. You can pull that closer if you want. Like crazy small. Where I was like, ooh, she looks like her pants always kind of have sagged off of her.
Yeah.
But they were like more than normal coming off of her. And I kept saying, I'm like, she's eating food. I don't understand. She's eating food. How is she losing weight? Her bone right here, this bone in your shoulder blade.
Scapula, shoulder blade.
Yeah, this thing was sticking out. Like, she was wearing a tank top, and it was like, what, was it like 80 degrees? She was wearing like a sweater. It was like death hot out, like super humid. I mean, we live in Minnesota. And I'm like, why are you cold? Like, it's weird.
And she's always had like a marbled or mottled, I don't know what the proper terminology is.
Yeah.
It's mottled skin where it just kind of looks splotchy. And that got
Extremely
exacerbated, if you will, towards the end of that week where we noticed she was out of it.
And she was really white. Like, I mean, she's always been white, but she had no color.
And she
to
didn't
her
go
skin.
to school. Well, I think we had that Monday off.
We had that Monday off. She went to school.
She didn't go to school.
She didn't go to
Tuesday
school.
or Wednesday.
Yeah. Wednesday night, she threw up in the middle of the night, just randomly. And she got up, oh my God, you guys, I'm not even kidding you, like 50 times to go pee in the middle of the night. And I'm like, dude, you just got up. Like, you have to stop drinking water. That's like the first thing you think of, right? Like, she's death thirsty. She keeps drinking all this water, and then she's peeing all the time. So I'm like, you gotta stop drinking so much water. You're peeing all the time. And then the reason why she was like peeing her pants was because she couldn't make it to the bathroom on time. Because she was literally going to the bathroom all the time. And I'm like, what is going on? Like, it's so weird. So anyways, that night, Wednesday night, she threw up in the middle of the night. No, it was Thursday, it doesn't matter. Thursday night. Oh, okay.
Thursday she went to school.
Thursday she went to school.
And then Friday she went
the whole day to school on Thursday and was fine, seemed fine. We were like, okay, we're maybe getting over the hump here. Thursday night she threw up in the middle of the night. Just randomly. She just like woke up and threw up. And we were like, okay. She woke up Friday, felt fine. So we're like, I mean, technically she's not supposed to go to school, but she'd missed so much school already that we were like,
and we
gotta
thought
go to school.
she was coughing a little bit, so we thought she maybe threw up because
she coughed.
She was coughing, not because
anything
else.
Yeah. So then Friday comes along and I get a phone call from the nurse, of course. They said she's not feeling good. She feels like she's gonna throw up. And I'm like, man, this is never ending. This is going on a week and I don't know what's going on besides it's an ear infection. Well, Ethan picked her up from school And I should have taken a picture of her. She got out of the car with him because I was by that point like a frantic mess, you know, like I was like, there is something going on. We're going into the weekend and we're gonna have this whole weekend off and I'm not gonna see the doctors. Like we need to figure out what's going on. Like it's scaring me. Like I was scared. She got out and she was so deathly skinny that I like immediately started crying. Like I looked at her and I cried because I thought she was dying. She literally looked like you could blow her over with your mouth. Like she'd fall over. I'm not kidding. She was so tiny.
Yeah.
And her little feet, she was so white and like ashy looking that it scared the crap out of me. So then he was telling me that your boss.
Well, rewind a second. Through this all, we're like, we need to get her into the clinic.
Yeah.
So we called.
Yeah.
So we didn't go into the weekend and have to bring her into the ER or something. We just wanted to get into the pediatrician that we already saw, or some pediatrician that could get us in that afternoon without having to go into the weekend. And so we're trying to frantically do that. And luckily, the pediatrician that we had seen, even though she was booked
For the ear infection.
Who already
saw her.
She made a spot for us. But then fast forward to what Courtney was talking about when we walked into the house. While we were driving home, I was remembering about, 4 or 5 months ago when I was traveling with my boss, are like the same weight and they're 4.5 years apart, and she just made some comment about, have you ever had her checked for type 1 diabetes? I'm like, no, she's healthy. Why would I? She's got a huge appetite. And we just kind of forgot about it.
You never told me about it, but so I didn't even know that was a thing. She told him, and I didn't even know.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't even think it was worth even talking about because she was so healthy. So then when this all started happening, it just kind of clicked in my head, and we started reading the symptoms, and like literally every symptom lined up: excessive thirst, excessive urination,
and especially at the age that she's at, like going to the bathroom in their pants. Like not making it to the bathroom in time, dizzy, fatigue, eating, but still losing weight. And I'm like, oh my God, this is her. So she said, she never told me she was dizzy.
Yeah, that was the only one that didn't line up.
Yeah, so I was like, Vea, have you felt like dizzy at all? And she was like, this was when she was like, I'm not kidding you, her eyes were all over the place. Like she couldn't focus. And she said, well, I have been running into walls at school. And I was like, what? Like you never told, and of course she's 7, she doesn't really know anything else. She just probably didn't feel very good. I literally was like, I like looked at Ethan and I was like, oh my God, like what the heck? I'm like, how do I not know this? Like obviously when somebody gets, like diabetes is not the first thing that you think of when your child is sick. Like I was like, she probably is just like, I don't know. So
we just thought she had a couple infections she was fighting off, and I'm like, her body's so small.
She's so small that like obviously her getting sick for us is a bigger deal than like the boys getting sick and like throwing up. Like her throwing up, I'm like, okay, she can't afford to lose any more weight. Like literally. She, from Tuesday to Friday, lost, she was 36 pounds on Tuesday, and by Friday she was like 35 pounds. 34 at the ER. So they tested her blood. She was at like 417 for her blood glucose level. So she got diagnosed with type 1 diabetes, which is, I'm really glad I got the like pre-warning before Ethan called me, because I was like, after I read that, I was like, she has it. But if he would have called me and said she has diabetes, I would be like, no, she does not. Like, there's no way. But I'm glad I like read it to give myself some time to like, no, I actually really do think she has it. So Ethan brought her to the emergency room. He rear-ended somebody on the way to the emergency room. I'm not even joking. This girl was stopped and whatever. It was a little tiny tap, but I was like, more like, get her to the emergency room. So we were there.
I was in tears talking to my dad on the phone when it happened, and then literally left the doctor's office a minute before that. So I was just like
frantic,
in a rush, like needed to go to the hospital.
So they got down to the hospital safely, luckily, and the doctor kind of told him like, Yeah, she needs to go to the emergency room. She doesn't have to be in an ambulance, but don't stop at home. Basically just go. And so, you know, obviously to anybody that's like, oh my God, I gotta go now. So I met them up there, and we were there from Friday all the way until Monday, and basically got, you know, we were there for the weekend, so we didn't have a lot of the doctors that you have during the week. So we had to wait until Monday, but luckily, like, all this whole thing kind of happened, and we just kind of got right into it. Like it was a shock. And I think it took us a good couple weeks to kind of like get out of the funk of like, oh my God, this is a lot. And now it's like normal. Like, I think I was almost depressed. Not depressed about it, but I was like in a fog. Like,
For sure.
I can't even think about anything but diabetes. Like, I can't think of anything else besides, oh my God, I have to count. And I would get stressed out. And now it's like really easy. Like, we have like our system, and she's getting shots right now, and she will be getting a pump pretty soon, but we don't really know when that will happen. Probably her next doctor's appointment, which is in July. I have been thinking about vlogging every day in July, just to like kind of get myself back into vlogging. And Nevaeh is very open about her diabetes. She actually thinks it's very, I think she likes it because she's different, and she is that kid that like, she goes to school the next day, after she got diagnosed, and she's on the swings, and one of the school aides was pushing her, and she was like, I have diabetes. And the lady was like, oh, you do? And she's like, yeah, I do. And then, so yeah, she likes it, and she likes that she's different, and she can talk about it and teach others about it, which I love. We do not have any friends that have kids or that we know personally that have type 1 diabetes. Like, I do have a Facebook that a lot of people that I know had been taking their friends. So I have been talking to a lot of people now that are their kids are diagnosed with type 1 diabetes, which is really great, because when you're thrown into something that you don't know much about, like when Ethan called me and said, her blood sugar's at 417, I literally was like, is that good? Is that bad? Is that high? Is that low? What is that? I don't know what it is. And he's like, it's really high. And I'm like, what's it supposed to be normally? Like, I was like frantic. Like, I don't get it. And your normal blood sugar should be 80 to like 150. And I did not know that. So endocrinologist. That's what Nevaeh will be seeing. She then informed us that Nevaeh's very high her numbers were really high for celiac disease, which was, again, like a total shock. And this was all like within a week.
This was the day after we got home from
the day after.
Appointment Tuesday.
Yeah. And I was like, okay. Like, it took me so much to not cry right there. I hate crying in general. And we got her tested. She had to get a scope, and she actually is diagnosed with celiac as well. So that has been more of a change for our family, more than the diabetes. Like, the diabetes was like, okay, this is like, you know, kind of a lot to get used to, shots before every meal, whatever. Now we're all going gluten-free, and so far the kids have been doing really good. So we are all going gluten-free now as well. And we all got tested for celiac. I know somebody might say that, but it is a genetic thing, like 10% chance. None of us have it. Celiac disease and type 1 diabetes, I don't know if you guys know, but it is an autoimmune disorder. So we appreciate it more than anything. Like, we felt so much love from like Instagram, Facebook, text messages. We got so many text messages from so many people. Nevaeh got so many flowers and bears. If that was you, we appreciate it more than you know. Like, literally, that makes me emotional too, because we felt like she has like a little team of people that care about her. And I know a lot of you have never even met Nevaeh, and you just know us from watching us. And that still like makes us even more like, you don't even know her and you are praying for her. That makes us feel so blessed. And really, we appreciate it more than like the world. So if that was you, we appreciate it more than anything. And we hope you continue to watch our story and how this will go on.